Providence and Beyond presents a study of urban food. The Earth is a finite resource, yet our population continues to grow. By 2015, 26 cities in the world will have populations greater than 10 million, each requiring 6,000 tons of food per day. Industrialized agribusiness created enormous efficiencies in yield per acre and, in some ways, an abundance of cheap food. But industrialized agribusiness is tied directly to a cluster of interrelated negative trends: rising energy costs, rising healthcare costs, and greenhouse gases and pollution of all kinds. Like the so-called Walmart effect on local economies, we must ask, what is the true cost of cheap food? 20th century industrialization of agriculture has increased the amount of greenhouse gases emitted by the food system by an order of magnitude. Chemical fertilizers made from natural gas, pesticides made from petroleum, farm machinery, modern food processing and packaging, and transportation have together transformed a system that in 1940 produced 2.3 calories of food energy for every calorie of fossil fuel energy it used, into one that now takes 10 calories of fossil fuel energy to produce a single calorie of modern supermarket food. Empty calories from industrial food sources lead to obesity, bad health, and higher healthcare costs. The environmental cost of greenhouse gases does not just come from trucks moving crops, but also from the energy in processing plants, selling and packaging foods, and even clear plow methods that release huge amounts of carbon dioxide. The average produce item travels 1,500 miles. If transported by tractor-trailer, 1 gallon of fossil fuel is consumed per 100 pounds of food. Monoculture. U.S. agriculture is now incentivized to produce a single crop, or a so-called monoculture. Wheat, corn, and soy are separated from animals. More food is grown on fewer farms, and the farms are getting larger and larger. The USDA incentivizes monoculture through its subsidy programs, which maximize specific crops and forbid others to be grown. CAFOs, or confined animal feeding operations, ghettoize food animals in unhealthy conditions where antibiotics are standard treatment. CAFOs are major sources of pollution. If taking animals off farms made a certain kind of economic sense, it made no ecological sense whatever. Animal waste, formerly regarded as a precious source of fertility on the farm, became a pollutant. Factory farms are now one of America's biggest sources of pollution. Monoculture produces more calories, but less food. Empty calories that drive obesity delivered through federally funded programs like food stamps and school lunches. And the entire industry is driven by fossil fuels powering trucks, tractors, and processing facilities. New directions. The supply and demand tipping point. In 2008, there was a 9% increase in food costs due entirely to the costs of transportation. The new reality of food and energy prices is resetting the viability of local and organic crops. Locally grown food is lower in cost. Some supermarkets are marketing local foods based on quality and price. Fresh and Easy supermarkets in California are considered a mid-level outlet, not a high-end outlet like Whole Foods, which uses similar practices. The strength of sustainable methods. Organic farming methods lower some costs. No pesticides or fertilizers are used, and it is less dependent on fossil fuels. This produces a more stable food cost as energy costs rise. Organic farming is a more resilient system that grows naturally stronger and more nutritious foods. During times of drought, organic farms routinely outyield industrialized farms. Food security as national security. Disruptions in food delivery will cause disruptions in the social order. We need more highly skilled farmers in more places all across America, not as a matter of nostalgia for the agrarian past, but as a matter of national security. The growth of direct-from-farm access points. Farmers markets in the United States have grown to over 4,700. There are 1,500 community-supported farms in the United States. Data from the 1997 Census of Agriculture indicate that 1/3 of all farms are located in metro areas and that they control 39% of farm assets. Agriculture in metro areas includes a relatively large group of farmers who operate small-scale farms and earn a large share of household income from off-farm sources. Community gardens and backyard farming are growing. The American Community Gardening Association estimates that there are 18,000 community gardens in the United States and Canada. One study estimates that gardening can add $500 to $1,200 worth of produce per year to a family's diet, a critical difference for low-income families. Community gardening can be a unique and valuable way for immigrants who move from a rural home to a new city to maintain their own culture. Immigrants bring farming skills with them. It's a traditional part of their life. But do we see the effect in our study areas?